This is the She Dares to Travel podcast, and I am your host, Raquella Pollock. After spending a decade managing the #1 travel agency in Canada, I am now here to connect you to women that are taking the travel industry by storm, as well as female business professionals that also have a passion for travel, just like me. We are here to inspire, uplift, and motivate you to not only follow, but plan out your dreams, no matter where in the world they may be. And of course, this wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Staples Studio, where I am currently recording from. Check them out on their website, studio.staples.ca. It truly is a new approach to co-working with community at its heart. There's access to hot desks, meeting and event spaces all across North America. So thank you, Staples Studio, for connecting us and sponsoring this podcast. And thank you for listening. Enjoy, be sure to subscribe and follow along. Thank you to Hotel Zed Kelowna, Victoria, and Tofino for being our sponsor. You can also save 15% off your next getaway using the code DARES2, DARES 2, the number 2, at hotelzed.com. These funky and unique hotels are in British Columbia, and they're going to have you not wanting to leave while you're on your next vacation. Enjoy. Hello, all you daredevils. Welcome back. We are here, another episode for the She Dares to Travel podcast. I am going to say it again because I always say it. I am so excited to be talking to someone in the tourism industry who has completely made waves within the snowmobile industry and provides some incredible clinics. I've had the pleasure of working with Julianne Chapman on her commercial insurance as well. So it's really cool that we're able to take a deep dive into her journey into this space and into the backcountry and how she ultimately got there. So she provides occupational training for SAR, for RCMP, forestry employees, etc., through snowmobile clinics. She does rentals and guided adventures. She's sponsored by Polaris and Climb. She used to be a professional snowboarder. I am just so excited to hear more about you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right now, where are you?
I am in a tiny little town called Cristova. It's about 20 minutes outside of Nelson, BC. That's where my home is.
Oh, have you always lived there?
No, moved
Okay.
moved here like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was in Nelson for about a year prior to that, and then
Okay.
I came over from the coast in Pemberton, which is just north of Whistler.
Oh, nice. Okay. And did you grow up in Pemberton? Like always
Nope.
BC girl?
Nope.
Okay.
Grew up in Montreal, did my schooling in
Oh,
Ontario,
cool.
and then moved to BC as soon as I finished my post-secondary schooling.
Very cool. So you speak fluent French then?
Yes, my parents,
Nice.
grew up speaking French, and they sent me to English school, so I was able to knock out that accent and still
Yeah,
be
because
able
you can't
to.
tell at all.
No,
Yeah,
great.
at all.
The silent Frenchie.
Yeah, I won't tell anyone. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. So you've been pretty much all over, for the most part, all over Canada then, east to west, right?
Totally.
Nice. And what brought you over into Pemberton?
That was snowboarding. Yeah,
Okay.
I took ski resort management in college.
Ah,
Sounds all fun for sure, but the most I
yeah.
took out of that was definitely some good partying. But also, I definitely got the business side of the winter sports aspect. So the marketing, the tourism, the accounting, running your own
Mm,
business, that kind of stuff. So that's basically what I took out of school. And then
okay.
yeah, as soon as I graduated, moved out to good old Whistler, and
Of course. Yeah.
followed my sponsors told me to move out west because I needed to start getting
Cool.
some shots in the backcountry with big mountains, and the competitions were all out there too. So yeah, listened to my sponsors and then moved out
Mm,
west, and there I was.
very cool.
Never turned back.
And yeah, I never went back. Exactly. I mean, West Coast, best coast, right? That's what they always say. It's hard
Yeah,
not to. It's hard not
yeah,
to. So
yeah.
then, so knowing when you went into university that you wanted to do tourism kind of right off the bat, or you knew you wanted to do something in the winter sports aspect or winter area, that was kind of always a thought.
Yeah, my parents always told me to follow my passions. So
Mm,
here I was at like 18, and I was like, okay, my passion right now is snowboarding. What can I do
yeah.
to make money and live off of snowboarding? So I pursued
Cool.
the professional athlete, and then yeah, just kind of went from there. Moved
Very cool. And were you being a professional snowboarder while you're in school, or did a lot of that come after?
It came during school, pretty
Okay.
much, because just
Yeah.
working on the business side of the ski resorts, I was able to meet a lot of like the company reps and I was a rep for a snowboard company outerwear called Nomis for a year. I was a park designer, the terrain park designing. And so I got
Oh,
to meet a lot
cool.
of the industry
Yeah.
companies and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And then as far what does it take to be a professional snowboarder? Like I can imagine a lot of practice, but how do you balance that if you're in,
In
university and
school.
doing?
Well,
Yeah.
that was the best part about my program is that you got like a co-op session during the winter where you're not really in school, you're just working within the industry. So I was able to ride a lot, helping design the terrain park at Mount St. Louis Moonstone. And so I got good
Cool.
at snowboarding at that time, and I was cracking school. I was doing my co-op at the same time. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was
Nice. So
fun
it's
college degree.
yeah, and like a really good integration, like you said, with your passion and then being able to exactly do what you love, but then learn at the same time.
Right.
Cool. So
Yeah.
then moving to Pemberton, was that full blown like full blown training, like diving into professional snowboarding? Were you doing other things on the side? Kind of a mix?
No, not really. I wasn't making enough money
Mm,
basically as a just a snowboarder. So I
yeah.
needed to dip into like I worked as a bartender and making
Oh
tips
yeah.
in the tourism industry and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I was work nights and shred during the days.
Cool.
So snowboarding was still my number one priority, but I was starting to work in the evenings and stuff like that. And then yeah, at one point, after doing like 2 or 3 years of competitions in Whistler, my
Mhm.
sponsors then told me I need to get a snowmobile to get into the backcountry and start filming snowboard parts in the backcountry. So that's when snowmobiling.
Have you done snowboarding before, or was this like brand new to you?
Snowboarding in the backcountry.
Or yeah, sorry, snowmobiling.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
snowmobiling, call it new because I was in the mountains. I
Yeah.
snowmobile in like the East Coast, which is nice and flat and on the lake,
Oh,
stuff like that. So yes, call it new.
yeah.
I basically, after like the first couple of times getting out, I called my sponsors and I was like, listen, this is going to take a lot longer for me to figure out how to drive this in off camber terrain and be able to get up these mountains to snowboard. So I
Yeah.
basically told them like I'm not going to be able to produce content or go to competitions because my number one goal is to learn how to ride this sled for me to
Mhm.
pursue my next step. And so they were like, yep, no problem. So
Wow.
year flew by, and then yeah, I got the itch, and I basically told them I was stopping snowboarding to
Wow.
pursue snowmobiling.
And what was the reaction?
Their reaction was like, cool, follow your
Sure.
dreams, but we're not going to be able to continue sponsoring you because you're not producing
Yeah.
content for us and stuff like that. So I threw away all my snowboard sponsors. And then that's when I was like, shit, maybe I should get some snowmobile sponsors.
Yes.
And yeah, so I was one of the very few females in the backcountry, like 15 to 20 years ago, trying to learn how to, ride these
Yeah.
mountains. And then I went into it's called free riding. So
Yeah.
I started jumping off cliffs with my snowmobile. I started, doing natural hits on the snowmobile, and there wasn't many
Yeah.
females and doing that at the time. So call it lucky or right timing. I was able to climb the sponsor ladder in the snowmobile industry pretty quick because I was one in a few doing that.
Wow. Is that pretty typical? I mean, I know we've come a long way when it comes to women in male dominated industries for sure. Like even in insurance, it's still a thing, we're still trying to break barriers and still move forward and see more, women at the top. Do you think back then it was more less women just because they didn't know it was a thing, or like it wasn't advertised, or,
That has a lot to do with it,
yeah.
for sure. It is a very physically demanding and mentally demanding sport.
Yeah.
So you really got to have that determination and physical strength and endurance, that kind of stuff. So right
Yeah.
there, I mean, I don't want to stereotype, but the male dominance definitely was there because they are stronger. They are,
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
so it was natural. But you look at the sport whatever 15 years ago and you look
Mhm.
at it now, and there are so many women in this sport now.
Mhm.
So it's
That's
pretty
so
rad.
That
Pretty rad.
is, and it's yeah, it's so nice. Do you think that It was the same in snowboarding when you were professional snowboarder. Was that still the kind of the same thing?
Yeah, but
Ish.
maybe it was more developed at that time than when I got into snowmobiling. You know, like yes, there was more males into it, but there was quite a few females into snowboarding when or
Yeah.
freestyle or free riding or whatever in the park and stuff like that. There was definitely quite a few women doing it, but then you rewind it 15 years before I started, and yeah, totally only
Yeah.
pretty men. You know.
Not many. It is pretty amazing to listen to the journey and like all the different industries to see how it's, I don't know, for a trajectory. And even for now, do you like what do you think percentage wise it is compared to what it was for women in snowmobiling?
Ah, good question. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna take a rough guess off the top of
Yeah.
my head. Like 15 years ago, I'd say like maybe 5% women,
Oh
and now
wow.
I want to say like 25, maybe
Eh,
30%.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Oh yeah,
awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome.
it's pretty cool. And you start to see, the corporate companies, Climb and Polaris, they're starting to design, outerwear for females, snowmobile
Mm,
parts for females, that kind of stuff. So back then it was all, I was wearing dude gear,
guys stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that aspect too.
Mhm.
Crazy the difference, but so exciting that it is here and
Oh,
prevalent, right? And that you're offering clinics to basically help women become a snowmobile stealer. Now, do anybody that are coming to your clinics, do they have to already have previous experience?
no, not at all.
Okay.
But when I first started the business, it was like women only because when I started, it was such a learning curve. I was
Mm,
riding with the dudes. I was crying every day. It was not
yeah.
a joyful experience. So that's what actually made me start She Shreds. It was like
Wow.
girls need to learn how to enjoy this a little bit more than I did because it was really tough for me to get into it. So that was my main goal with She Shreds. But then, you look at my business now. I'm offering clinics for men too, and
Yeah.
I will always specialize in teaching women because I am a woman and I know, the special moves and techniques that you need to have as a small person. At the same time, I'm teaching men now, and the sport itself
Mm-hmm.
is growing huge. So I
Yeah.
started to open it up to everybody, not just.
Nice. Are there quite a few clinics doing what you do in and around? I mean, BC, they can
Yeah,
hone
yeah,
in on.
yeah. Rewind like 13 years ago when I started She Shreds, there
Yeah.
was no other. She Shreds was the first in pretty much North America. And so,
Wow.
but very close behind She Shreds, there was definitely one or two that started at
Mm.
kind of at the same time. Unfortunately, one of the companies is not in business anymore. She pursued
Oh.
a different part of her career, but the
Yeah.
other one is still in business. But the demand is so much higher now. So it's like I'm almost blessed that more people have started to do this because I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to handle it all on my own kind of thing.
Is there any main differentiators between She Shreds and the other ones out there? Is it a pretty streamlined? I mean, obviously you're the difference. That's
Yeah,
the
well,
key, but
the cool part about a couple of the others is that they are other professional females doing it. So like Nadine Overwater is an example of the other one. She's in Revelstoke.
okay.
And she doesn't do as much clinics as I offer because she owns a forestry business and that kind of stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's not her main focus, but she's a professional athlete as well for Ski-Doo. So
Oh, okay.
there yeah, so there
Yeah.
is, and then there is the corporate companies like the big, I call them putt-putt tours where you go and have your chocolate at the cabin.
Yeah.
So there are companies that do offer clinics.
That's my kind of tour. Like
Yeah, no,
yeah.
don't get me
Backcountry
wrong.
I could try, but it is very intimidating.
Yeah,
The
no,
backcountry, it is for
but you
sure.
want to know something crazy is that most of the accidents happen on those putt-putt tours because
I
the throttle, they're not used to it. They fly off the road, that kind of stuff.
yeah, that's
It's
true. Yeah, very
yeah,
true.
so yeah, there is other to go back to your question, there is other
Yeah.
companies offering it, but not very many that are small and intimate like
Mm,
myself at She Shreds Mountain Adventures. If people come to She Shreds, they do an online booking system, but then I'm the one communicating with them their special
mm,
needs, what they want to learn, if they have any questions, that kind of stuff. So my admin side is definitely a lot. It's
yeah,
getting to be a lot. So that, small, intimate feel, how long can I keep doing that for? I hope
yeah.
forever, but the admin is taking over too
It's a
much.
lot. Totally. Yeah. Almost like you need like even like a virtual assistant or something to kind of help. Yeah, help in that regard. How many people typically are on a tour?
You're never more than 5 people per coach. So
Okay.
there are
Yeah.
clinics that it's just me and maximum 5 girls.
Yeah.
There's privates that offer one-on-one. There's couples clinics, which is almost like a therapy clinic as well. So
That
there's
would be.
and then
Yeah.
we have some big ones that I get like 20 girls all together for the weekend, but then we have 5 coaches kind of thing. And the coaches alternate through the groups. So everybody
Yeah.
has a taste of different kinds of teachings and stuff like that. So
Nice.
yeah, never more than 5 per coach.
And for people that are just starting out, they don't have to have their own snowmobile or anything, right? You're providing all
No.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a rental
Yeah.
option for sure.
Yeah.
It's always best to learn on your own snowmobile,
Mhm.
just so you can, progress quicker. But
Yeah.
it's tough when you're learning or just wanting to get into the sport. Do you do that financial commitment to buy the machine right away if you're not going to like it? So yeah, I always suggest if you can borrow one financially, that'll be a little bit better on your pocket. But
Yeah.
if you to rent, then you can rent. And then you try to figure out if you enjoy the challenge because it's
Mhm.
very, very challenging.
Oh, I bet. Well, especially backcountry, like you're dealing with the depth, like the deep, the powder, it's getting out of it. It's knowing how much to throttle. Yeah, I feel like it's a science. I know someone actually, I forget who it was. It was like a friend of a friend or something. And they ended up like one winter being like, yes, he was like, I'm going to snowmobile. I'm so excited. He bought like top of the line snowmobile. He went out like once or twice, got stuck,
Oh yeah.
hated it, and then sold it. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh no, but
The
yeah.
I get so stuck for a long time. And then the
Yeah.
funny thing is about snowmobiling is, you start off and you're getting stuck and it's so frustrating and you're
Yeah.
so tired. And then if you have the determination and the power to keep going, then you start to get good and then you figure out the technique
Mm.
and you start to get really good. And then at the point that I'm at, I am pushing myself to the point that I'm getting stuck. You're not getting better
Oh.
till you're getting stuck. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
weird vicious circle that just keeps you coming back for more. You hate it, but you love it.
You can't help. You can't. What's your I don't even know how to say it. What's your best or your worst getting stuck story? Is there one?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's the backcountry stories. I could write a book.
Right? Yeah, I
Um,
bet.
yeah, there's okay, so let's talk about a stuck. I wouldn't even call it a stuck. So basically, this was at the beginning of my snowmobile adventures, this is
Yeah.
not clients, just me and some friends.
Okay.
And we didn't look far enough in the weather that day, and there was a
Mm.
system moving in that we were unaware of. And we wanted to get to this cabin that you needed to go up and over a ridge and drop into where the cabin was, basically. And so we did that. We went up and over, dropped in, had lunch at the cabin. It was great. Wasn't really looking outside. And then boom, this system moved in and you could not see like literally 2 feet in front of you. And we needed to climb up the ridge to get back out. So yeah, we were a group of 5 and it took us like 4 hours
Oh
basically
my
to
God.
get out. And I was one of the last ones and the sun was setting. It was getting dark. And I had this like meltdown moment being like,
Hmm.
holy shit, I'm spending the night in the backcountry tonight. Like, no, and I was so tired
Wow.
from trying to get out and it wasn't a straight shot. It was up and then over to the right. And there was
Hmm.
rock exposure on both sides. And so it was challenging, but the crew came together. People walked it down with their headlamps. So I had basically like a headlamp path to
Oh,
follow.
wow. Yeah.
And we got out it was dark by the time we got out for sure, but it was a shitty
Oh,
experience
yeah.
in my book that I remember, and then there's
Yes. Yeah.
really hilarious experiences that you're like early season jumping creeks and your buddies like you're playing like frog hop with your buddy to get across the creeks to get oh yeah, it's so fun.
That's fun. Do you kind of have the same kind of crew of people that you always go with, or is it always a mix of friends or
Yeah, no, my fun crew is definitely
yeah.
a small crew
Yeah.
because we are constantly pushing the limits and we need to trust each other
Hmm.
and know how we ride and how we communicate and so
Yeah.
it's always a really challenging mission with that crew to go snowmobiling with, but we work
Yeah.
so well together and we're so safe together, that I trust them with my life kind of thing. So
Well, and that's really special that you have that too. And important, so important to be able to, because especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you want to be able to rely on the people. So in that situation with you trekking out, if you did have to spend the night in the backcountry, how does that work? Like, do you just set up I don't know, an igloo kind of camp or something? And then,
So part of
yeah,
the clinics that I teach is prepared for when it's going to happen. I always tell my clients it's going to happen.
yeah,
You just don't know when. So
yeah,
being prepared at all times is what's going to make you stay
yeah.
alive and semi enjoy the overnight experience that you
Hmm.
have. And so usually when something happens like that and the sun starts going down, instead of pushing yourself to your absolute like drained energy where you're basically useless, then you
Hmm.
start to hunker down. Then you're like, okay, I'm spending the night. Then you start to build your Quincy. So somewhere you need to three things to stay alive in the backcountry in the winter. You need warmth, you need food, and you need water, basically.
Hmm.
So, and you need to stay dry. So building yourself a little shelter where you can stay warm and dry is number one. And
Hmm.
then you get your fire going to stay warm. And then
Wow.
you hopefully have enough food and water. And yeah, and that's
Yeah.
if it's an injury kind of thing or somebody got hurt, then you're obviously calling for outside help. So search and
Yeah.
rescue kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. And with your friends in that case too, if you did have to do that and they're all out, you're still down, is there kind of like a code where they're okay to go off, or they no, they all stay?
No, that's, I
No
mean,
man left behind.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
With our crew,
Yeah.
it's like that. I've heard
Yeah.
stories of people ditching people,
Oof.
because obviously I talk to a lot of people in the industry. And so
Yeah.
yeah, every crew is going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's why I have such a small crew, is because we
Yeah.
know how tight we are and we know what our mentality is, kind of thing.
Definitely. Yeah, that is amazing. And I can imagine the adrenaline that was pumping during that moment of thinking what's going to happen next and how are we going to go through this. With the training that you offer for like RCMP or forestry employees, is it all a pretty set curriculum? Or is it
Yeah.
something that's kind of adapted per industry that's taking it, or person even?
Yeah, so when they are booking, it all depends how much training they already have. So that will determine what they are getting, basically. But there's two different levels of training when it comes to occupational training. And there's a level one where you're teaching, how to safely unload and load their trailer, how to maneuver in flat terrain, that kind of stuff. And then there's the level two where you're starting to go into the mountains and off-camber terrain and stuff like that. So there's different industries that only need to operate on flat ground, to go up a logging road, turn around and come back. And then
Yeah.
there's other industries, like forestry and, COs and stuff like that, that need to go into the mountains and learn how to ride the off-camber stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, it all
So
depends.
different. Yeah, depending on who it is or what they're looking for. Do you
Totally.
find your passion crosses over into summer? Like do you go into like ATV quad mode in summertime? Or are you like, nah, save it for all the winter?
Yeah, I'm not much one for like dust and dirt
Ah, yeah.
I mean, yes, I am because I horseback ride and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
mountain bike ride. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I take a little bit of a break from the power sports stuff in the summertime. One, because my body needs it, and
Yes.
two, I like to operate at a slower pace in the summertime than the quick, fast stuff.
Yeah. The adrenaline. I mean, it's safe to say you're adrenaline junkie, I feel though,
I
at least.
am, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I do a lot of adrenaline fulfilling stuff in the summer as well, but
Yeah.
it's not business wise.
Yeah, no, that's straight for fun, which is good. Really good. So
Totally.
tell me a bit more about the House of Commons award that you got.
That was a long time ago. That was in
Mhm.
2012, and that's when I was like just starting to be somebody in the snowmobile industry. And yeah, it was an award that was out of the blue. Like I was not expecting it. I didn't even know I was nominated for it or anything like that. And yeah, the British Columbia Snowmobile Federation is the one who presented it to me, and it was a
Yeah.
very honoring award. And that was kind of like my, okay, I'm pursuing this career.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love it. It's because when did She Shred start? What year was that?
2012.
Oh, it was the same year.
Yeah, same year.
Oh, no
Totally.
way.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's
the
huge
year.
then.
Yeah.
Huge. And what's the requirements for getting the award? Is it, yeah, what is it? What you're doing within the
Maybe
industry?
well, exactly. I
Yeah.
think anyways. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be act. I was pursuing, the safety side. Because back
Mm-hmm.
then, snowmobiling is still kind of a little bit of a gray blanket. There's the rednecks and the, hipsters and all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was back then. It was, the badass rednecks that were snowmobilers, and so yeah,
Yeah.
here I was trying to promote a different branch of the snowmobile
Mm,
industry.
definite. And yeah, clearly it took off
Yeah,
for all that it is.
totally.
And you right now, where are all the clinics being held?
All over the place.
Yay.
Yeah, my base obviously is here in the West Kootenays. I did have a base in Pemberton for a very long time, and
Mhm.
it's put on hold for now because I'm waiting for permitting from the government, which has been an ongoing joke for the last
Yeah.
God, I want to say like 8 to 8 years I've been waiting for this permit, basically. I'm not going to go into detail on this, but my base in Pemberton is going to reopen hopefully very soon. And then I
Yep.
offer clinics in Golden, Valemont, Revelstoke, and those clinics and all the other locations is a kind of like a one-time per winter thing. It's not like on a
Yep.
regular basis. And then I offer a couple just outside of Nakusp at Halcyon Hot Springs as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Very nice.
that was a big part is of this industry is figuring out the permitting to be able to
Yeah.
do this on crown land with it. And so yeah, it took me a while to figure it out, but I got
Wow.
it.
Good for you. Good for you. With your whole journey in this, being that it was coming from, I mean, obviously your university background gave you the business side, and then you had the passion and the drive from the professional snowboarding. So what do you think you've learned the most in creating this career out of your passion, or the
Uh,
biggest learning curve kind of?
Yeah, I would say balancing to try to keep it still a passion. So there's that fine line of
Mm,
working too much in your passion to
yep.
almost hate your passion at that point. So I'm forever thankful of my staff that helps me out,
Yeah.
taking days for me that I'm just like, okay, I've had enough. I'm gonna take a couple days off here. You guys have the clients, go have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fine line of balance of still enjoying the sport in a fun aspect and not overworking yourself to hate your passion.
Yeah. And that's actually a big one with a lot of people I've spoken with in tourism, because a lot of it stems out of passion, the passion of tourism, the passion of, like I was just telling you with this podcast, it was a passion. But then when it starts to become a job and then you get bogged down with so much other things, that's where you're like, oh, I got to reassess and like you usually drop your passion. So it's hard that you don't want that to happen. So
Totally.
that's a really good reminder, definitely for those that are looking to create something in the tourism industry out of their career. Because your operating season is, I mean, based on snow, obviously.
Yeah, so that's another
Yeah.
thing, working in the tourism industry and then tourism industry in the snowmobile or snow world is
Yeah.
you're limiting yourself quite a bit. There's lots of fluctuations on all the obviously the snow, but my booking system, I'm not giving you your money back because it's snowing too much or it's too icy.
Oh, okay.
Or, that kind of,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
when we work, you look at any like cat ski or heli ski operations,
Mhm.
of course they can't fly if they can't see, but cat ski operations, they still go whether it's shitty weather or not, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So you got to be a little bit firm with your bookings. And then,
Mhm.
the fluctuations of the world, like look at COVID and how much of a hit that was on the
Totally.
tourism industry.
Yeah.
So you just got to be really conscious with your money, planning ahead for these off seasons and the fluctuations in the world and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And kind of always having a backup basically. So knowing that I'm pretty good with, the business side and I could easily go work for somebody and do their website and do their marketing and
Yes.
that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
am very passionate with dogs and horses. I could go,
Mhm.
start doing a doggy daycare, doggy walking,
Yeah.
training horses, that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've got backups if the tourism industry shits the bed. But other than that, that industry is a very fun industry if you are an outgoing person and
Yeah.
love communicating with people and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's so true. So, so true. How did you navigate 2020? Because I know for obviously tourism, it was every industry got hit very hard, and tourism, it like broke my heart when it did. But with being that things in the outdoors opened up a lot quicker, did you kind of see a bit more of a return
Yeah.
faster?
obviously it was scary going into it. Nobody knew what the heck was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
My first hit was like, oh, here goes my American clientele.
Yeah, of
Definitely
course.
not
Yeah.
kind of over the border.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Alberta, they're not allowed to travel into BC. So I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, there goes all my clients.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, now I got lots of fun time to snowmobile with my friends. So it and now I look back on it, it like revived my passion for the sport.
Mm.
And then the, small business grants and stuff like that started happening. And so I
Yeah.
was able to prove that my business took a huge financial hit. And in the end, I got the massive top up for the being part of the tourism industry and stuff like that. So,
Awesome.
and then I was able to build a whole shop for my snowmobiles and have an actual office to have my clients come in and sign waivers, that.
Awesome. Yes.
So yeah, at first it was super scary. And yes, I
Yeah.
took a hit, but it all like balanced out in the end with the small business
Mm-hmm.
grants, the reviving my having more time to go snowmobiling with my friends and stuff like that. So yeah,
That's good. That's so good to hear. Because
sure,
those are the good tourism stories that you want to hear coming out of this, right? Like
totally. And
hugely.
they're
Yeah.
not all like that, right? Like you look at the yoga
Yeah.
studios, you look at the
Mm-hmm.
restaurants, that kind of stuff. They took
Totally.
so many people had to shut down, unfortunately. So yeah, it's not all butterflies.
No, totally. That's good though. Do you find that you still are snowboarding quite a bit as well, or has that taken a back seat?
Yeah,
Like
so it took a
slowly?
backseat for quite a while,
Yeah.
and then I had a kid, and then
Oh, yeah.
it's revived again, going to the hill with my kid.
Oh, that's
Totally.
fun. How old is your kid?
He's 5.
And he
So
is he snowboarding now?
he is, yeah. So we
I
started,
love it.
my partner's actually a snowboard coach. That's what he did when
Awesome.
he was younger. And so
Yeah.
we've put him straight into a snowboard, and
Oh, that's
he's
so
getting pretty good.
fun. I always see these. Oh, I don't know if you've seen it. There's this like TikTok or me or like something out there, and it's of the kid, and you can hear her speak in the helmet, and she's like,
Totally.
yeah, 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 yeah. She's like singing along. And she's like, oh,
Yeah. So pumped. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
It's so
so good.
good.
So
I'm like,
fun.
that's exactly, I think, what like as an adult doing snowboarding, it's like do 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 do. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, this is fun. No, it's not too fast. Put the brakes. Like it's so
That's what I do in my helmet when I'm snowmobiling, man. It's
no, that's
hilarious.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
I
good.
love it. Well, I feel like it's a very, as much as it is physical, both these sports, I can imagine it's just as mental as well.
Yeah. So being part of the, guiding industry, our main goal is to make sure our clients are coming home to their family at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's always a challenge going out, and it's almost always scary. But I don't show this obviously because I'm
Hmm.
very confident with my decision making in the backcountry, and my snow analysis, is it safe, and knowing the terrain, all that kind of stuff. I've been doing it for quite a long time now, so I am confident. And
Yeah.
I'm going to rub wood saying this, but She Shreds has never had any sort of accident in the backcountry when it comes to avalanche.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Almost, none of those. It's so I'm
Good.
very lucky. My clientele come to me with an educational outlook, and they want to learn.
Hmm.
It's not a guiding operation where people are really good at snowmobiling and they want to go ride the gnarliest terrain and buy
Yeah.
this powder, and they're paying a lot of money to do that. And so there's a lot more stress on the guide when you have those kind of clients versus my
Hmm.
clients that are like, oh, you're keeping us safe and you're teaching us. This is great. So it's yeah.
Exactly. That's good. That's so good. And that's a huge accomplishment in
Mm.
all the years and something to be proud of. And as your risk manager, I'm very happy, very proud of that as well. Thank you for saying that. Yes. Out of all the things that you've done, what do you think has been your favorite? Whether it's like business, a life thing. It's a very broad question. I just
Yeah.
made it up.
There's so many favorites. My most favorite part is where life has taken me, and the fact that I've been able to do what I love to do my whole life pretty much
Mm,
is a win on itself. And then
yeah.
having a kid and then sharing that with them, your passions, is just it's
That is
pretty
really
awesome.
cool. That
Yeah.
is really cool. Well, and I
Yeah.
can imagine that you are probably going to say the exact same thing to him that your mom said to you or your parents said about follow your passion,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally.
And then it'll be cool to see what his passion is, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Very, very cool. With the other aspects of your life, with what you have going on, you said that you also horseback ride. Is that just for fun?
Yeah,
For
that's
the most
definitely
part?
a
Yeah.
popular thing. Yeah, I did it as a child. And then I took a massive break, like from the age of 15 to like 24, 25 or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I took a pretty big break. And since I've gotten back into it, now have three horses. And
Nice.
one of them I took from a wild herd and trained it from scratch. Like I couldn't
Whoa.
thing when I first got it. And
Crazy.
then I've taken a racehorse from the racetrack, retired racehorse, and trained it to be an eventing horse. So jumping and dressage, the fancy.
Yes, the pretty,
Yeah,
hoof work. Yes.
yeah. So as far as
Crazy.
like my like summer passions, I'd say it's gone more towards horses than I used to mountain bike a lot. I used to surf,
Yeah.
and stuff, but horses
Yeah.
is definitely kind of my number one the last 5, 6 years is taking these young, call them crazy horses and then turning
Hmm.
to like giving them a new job.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. A new job, some rehabilitation. A girlfriend of mine that lives pretty close here, she's got a horse at one of the farms. And whenever I go visit, it's true. They have some horses as well from a wild herd that are crazy. And they came together. So you never know what you're gonna see. Some days they're like hugging and like snuggling. Other days they're fighting. Like it's just
Yeah.
nuts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's quite the challenge. Very, very cool though. What would you say for somebody that's starting out in like tourism or they're wanting to start their business? What type of advice would you have for them or something that you're really happy you know now that maybe you didn't know when you started?
Yeah. Always have a backup plan. I know I mentioned that earlier. So when you're first starting, you just, you have that determination and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna make it. But there is that chance that it flops, like
Yeah.
another COVID happens when you're just
Yeah.
starting the business, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, always have a backup plan just so you're not left in the dumps is my number one thing. Yeah, as far as like the tourism industry, kind of what I mentioned, there's these
Mhm.
fluctuations that you don't predict. Going into the tourism industry, there's an off season and on season, but you don't know how hard that hits. So being
Yeah.
financially smart and saving that money in the off season is huge. Don't let the downs of the industry take you down. Just keep.
Moving forward, right?
Yeah.
How about for any women that are trying to break through the barriers of a male dominated industry?
Yeah. So don't just keep your head, don't like it's like having blinders.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get sucked into, what the men tell you or uh
Mm,
don't I mean a lot of men have very good advice as well. So, take it with a pinch
absolutely.
of salt. Be
Yes.
open, have blinders, but be open to take advice and
Yeah.
yeah, surround yourself with females because they'll give you feedback, good and bad. It's great.
Yes, love that. Who do you think your biggest inspiration has been in either snowboarding or and snowmobiling?
Terry DeKitis was her name. She was my
Okay.
like number one. Oh man, I used to look up to her so much as a snowboarder. She's
Yeah.
used to be a professional snowboarder back in the day,
Yeah.
and yeah, she was pretty awesome. And then Jolene Van Vaught, she's pretty rad.
Mm.
She's did a lot of like movie stunts and like crazy dirt.
Oh, yeah.
She was with Nitro Circus for a long time
Oh,
doing
yeah.
like backflips on
Cool.
a dirt bike and stuff. So yeah, a lot of these like badass women in male
Yeah.
dominated sports I looked up to.
Very cool. I know were they international? Those
Yeah,
ones
so
for the
yeah,
most part?
those
Yeah.
two girls were American. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not like as far as like Canadian girls go, yeah, Robin Van Gien, Leanne Pelosi, like all of
Hmm.
these badass snowboarder females. I mean Marie-France Roy, she's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really rad snowboarders in BC or in Canada, I should say, that I looked up.
Very cool. With the whole thing with the whole mindset and going into wanting to be the best or wanting to be as good as them or do what they're doing, how would you mentally prepare for that? Or how would you mentally prepare?
So, having the mentality of wanting to be the best is definitely not the way to go. Is you
Hmm.
concentrate on yourself and you do the best you can. Don't compare yourself to all these top level females because it took them a long time to get there. So you got to put the time into it to get there
Yeah.
too. Right. So, because as soon as you start to set expectations and, look at these people and be like, I want to be like them, if it doesn't happen, then you start to get down on yourself quite a bit. So, just concentrate on yourself and set your goals to meet and don't make them unrealistic, these goals, because then you're going to be downed again. Set them
Yeah.
small and work your way up with these small goals, and then you'll be pretty stoked with yourself, I think.
Great advice. Such good advice. Cause I think it's so easy to fall into the whole exactly that. I want to be the best. I know I'm capable of doing that. So I'm going to do it. But then you try it. And then that's when you start hating it because you see everyone else do it.
And then you
Yeah.
lose that drive to be determined to do what you're doing at that point when you're doing that. So
Yes. So baby steps, one day at a time. Definitely. Yeah, small, exactly. Just inch your way. So amazing. Would you ever or have you ever internationally? Like do you travel a lot internationally?
I do travel internationally.
Yeah.
For like for say like I'm just about to leave to go to Minneapolis in a couple
Mm.
weeks for Polaris and Climb. The biggest trade show for snowmobilers happens in a hayfield in like just north of St. Paul.
Oh, cool.
And
That's
we're
fun.
going to sign some autographs and just, interact with fans and stuff like that. So it's going to be
Yeah.
super fun. As far as traveling out of country to go teach these clinics,
Yeah.
back in the day, I did that. I used to, pair up with people down in the States that had permits and go down there. But the whole visa thing and working in the States is something that I had a bit of a scare coming back one year. And they were like, you were in Colorado and you were not working, but your social media says that you were working. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Yeah. That's fine.
But
You can
yeah,
say
so
fuck.
yeah. So
That is an oh fuck moment. That
oh
is.
yeah, exactly. So that's when I was like, okay, I can't do this without visas coming up. And then I looked into visas and they're super expensive and time. And so,
Oh,
I was like, you know
yeah.
what? The
Yeah.
Americans come to me now.
Perfect. Keep it
Yeah.
that way.
So,
Yeah, interesting. I know it's always the laws and legalities around it for sure. I love it. That's amazing. So, and real quick to put it in perspective too, how many people are coming to your clinics per season?
yeah. So if it's a good winter season, like starting early and ending late for
Mhm.
the snow, we're talking like 130 to 150 clients per year.
Yeah.
Or per season, I should say. And that's not necessarily through like with me.
Mhm.
Those are clients of She Shreds. So they might be
Yeah.
going up with some of my guides and stuff like that. So, so on a like poop year, I would say like, I'm happy to reach 80 on a bad
Okay.
year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which still, that's a lot of people that are coming to learn or wanting to learn, right? From all
It
different aspects, like
it
80 to
keeps going.
150. Yeah, it's incredible. So, where can everybody find you?
Yeah.
Online, social
Yep.
media?
Yep. I've got my website, sheshreds.ca, and then social media, She Shreds Mountain Adventures, Facebook, She Shreds Mountain Adventures. And yeah, I'm good with emails, so I'm easily
Perfect.
contactable through email.
Awesome. Well, I love it. I really appreciate your time. And it's so interesting to see yet again another woman in tourism that has completely used their passion and just ran with it. And in your case, like snowboarded down mountains and jumped off cliffs with it. So it's pretty incredible. So
Thank
thank
you.
you again for just sharing your story. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Hotel Zed Kelowna, Victoria, and Tofino for being our sponsor. You can also save 15% off your next getaway using the code DARES2, DARES 2, the number 2, at hotelzed.com. These funky and unique hotels are in British Columbia, and they're going to have you not wanting to leave while you're on your next vacation. Enjoy! If you like this episode, please subscribe, download a few more, and leave a review. I really would love to hear from you, what you enjoyed and what your key takeaways were. And of course, please let me know if there's any aspect of the travel industry you want me to talk about next. You can also search for the hashtag SheDaresToTravelPodcast on Instagram and comment on the episode's post with your questions. I'd love to answer them all for you guys. I hope you enjoy your day, stay so well, and until next time, fly straight.